Hey everyone, Jenna Mike here, and I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the new film, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. As you can see, I got my shirt here representing Beetlejuice, and I had the privilege of going to see the press screening for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, directed by Tim Burton. All right, now here's the plot of the film. 3 generations of Deetz family return home to the Winter River after an unexpected family tragedy. Still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life soon gets turned upside down when her rebellious teenager daughter discovers a mysterious portal to the afterlife. When someone says Beetlejuice's name 3 times, the mischievous demon gleefully returns to unleash his very own brand of mayhem. Now, this is a sequel to the original film, which came out in 1988. Can you believe that? Now, it was about 10 years before I was born. I was born in 1998. But still, I am a big fan of Tim Burton. I've been a fan of his films, for many years as I've grown up and everything. With Edward Scissorhands, with Batman films, etc. I've always been a fan of him as director. And definitely seeing his style again on the big screen was very good to see. Now, as this being a sequel to a long a film for originally, coming back in the 80s, it can definitely fall into that trap of, whether this is a successful sequel or not. And I can say, rest assured, this was a decent sequel. Definitely has its flaws, but this is a sequel that's worth watching if you are a Tim Burton Beetlejuice fan. All right, this film also stars Michael Keaton returning as Beetlejuice, Winona Ryder returning as Lydia Deetz, also joined by Jenna Ortega as her daughter, Astrid. Also, you have Monica Bellucci. You also have Willem Dafoe, Justin Thorks, Arthur Conti, Danny DeVito returning, Cathrine or Hara as Delia Deetz. You also have a bunch of different characters in this film. If you're a fan of Tim Burton, you're going to enjoy this film. Definitely with the addition of Jenna Ortega, I felt that this film definitely added into the lore in addition to this franchise in a positive way. Definitely, if you like the randomness and chaotic scenes and mayhem of the original, this film definitely continues. I will, before I get to the plot of this film, I will say the visual effects in this film was very, very good. Tim Burton is definitely someone that goes into practical effects, and you see that in this film. And I was very concerned, just with my eye, noticing if I was going to catch any type of horrible, bad, CGI getting past as being real or practical. But this was actually really utilized very well, and going back into what Tim Burton is known for, being in puppetry and being in terms of animatronics and regular practical effects and everything, and that's why one of the reasons why I love Tim Burton. And this was just a good film just to see his style back on the big screen. Obviously, returning with Jenna Ortega from Netflix's Wednesday, this film definitely goes into utilizing Jenna Ortega in the best way into the overall story of the Deetz family. Now, we see these characters back in their lives, and we see them returning at a different point. Winona Ryder, our character Lydia, she is a paranormal activity type reality star, running this TV show, and that's her job that she has now as an adult. Her mom, played by Cathrine Hara, is now a big famous artist and stuff, still basically being the artist and woman that she is from the original film. But a good thing, I will say, that they didn't continue on with the strained relationship what they had, antagonizing relationship they had in the beginning of the film, because now you're seeing that struggle of mother and daughter relationship now between Jenna Ortega and Winona Ryder's characters, and how they just also she's mourning loss of her father, and also seeing that she's in a new relationship with this guy played by Johnny Thorks and Rory, and you have fun dynamics in there and stuff like that. Definitely being some type of manipulator with with Lydia's character, but yeah, aside from that, you're seeing more following Jenna Ortega as she's kind of just not really having that best relationship with her mother. Now, with the beginning of this film, we also see Monica Bellucci who plays character Dolores, who is the ex-wife of Beetlejuice. Now, there was a little nod to Beetlejuice in the first film, of her character. And you see some of that applied to this film. But I thought it was very interesting how they kind of tie that. We actually get to see as returning the man, the myth, the legend, Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. And I was very concerned that if they're going to, trying to expand, not expand his character, but overweight, kind of, almost tarnish the legacy that his performance has meant to this film and this franchise, back since 1988. But we actually see his origin, wacky as it may be, to see how he became Beetlejuice. But we're seeing that now he's still trying to get that, the opportunity to marry Lydia, and so he can, be back into the real world and everything like that. But he still had, still infatuated with her for many, many years, and you see that. We see some characters that don't return from the original film, and they do some narrative points with it. Obviously some characters or actors that have passed away, but other characters that are, been written off in a respectful way. I don't think that, yes, it would have been nice to see some of these returning characters from the first film come back, but it wasn't, I felt, didn't really hinder this film a lot. It definitely would have been an interesting dynamic to have them in there, but I felt that having some of the original characters not returning and the way they, kind of metaphorically or literally speaking, passed them over into out of the story. I think they did it in a very good way to make sense in the story. Obviously, with some of the actors in real life right now, they're going through certain situations and stuff. But anyway, one thing in this film that we also see, we see this dynamic between Astrid and Lydia, how she's basically not liking the relation that she has with her mother, but it's kind of mirroring the relation that she has with Cathrine or Hara and Winona Ryder when back in the original film. And we've seen that. And basically, as this whole situation in this film going through many different events and stuff, we also see more of the underground world of the dead, right? Which we see characters like Willem Dafoe, who plays Wolf Jackson. We see Danny DeVito for a little bit in there, but we see that that the character Dolores, played by Monica Bellucci, she's actually trying to go and get Michael Keaton back, because that was his ex-wife and stuff. And seeing that, and I felt that the opening scene of her, and you'll see in this film in terms of how visually how she had her introduction into her character, I felt I was intrigued from the moment we saw her on screen. But that did diminish throughout the story until we get through terms of the end of the film. That I felt like the height of me being interested in her character was the first time we saw her on screen, and it really did do nothing as the story progressed to make me actually care about her character, unfortunately. The same thing with Justin Dorks. I felt like he was really the kind of annoying character, but I think that's what he was written for. But we also have another character, Jeremy, played by Arthur Conti, who has a sort of relationship with Jenna Ortega's character, Astrid. And it's only brief in there, but I felt, and not to give any away, that's not really spoilers or anything, but there was a unique story point that kind of mirrored the Beetlejuice and Lydia Deetz relationship almost a little bit from the first film, and but they do it in a unique way that actually was very interesting. I was kind of surprised how Tim Burton add that aspect of the story in this film, and unfortunately it wasn't left longer to be desired, because I felt it was very interesting, yet it was just a story point, and it was written off real quick, and you'll see in this film. And I wish he would have let that dragged out more, in my personal opinion. In terms of the set design of this film, you definitely get the atmosphere of Tim Burton in terms of in terms of his sets, in terms of his the wardrobes, the hair, makeup department, and everything. You get the world and the feel of Tim Burton in this film. And I really appreciate that he didn't let go of his style. If anything, he enhanced his style with the fact this is being a sequel. The fact that, okay, if I was playing it safe with this first one, then I'm going all 100 miles an hour with the sequel, and I felt that they utilized Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice in a really good way in this film. That it felt like it was kind of being a running joke. There are some jokes that don't land, honestly, that kind of get, and especially there's 2 jokes in this film that deals with a puppet. I will just leave that there. They do it twice in one in the beginning of the film, one at the end, and you'll see. And I was like, okay, and that's getting to all the craziness of Tim Burton as you can possibly imagine. And I was watching this, I'm like, I am not surprised watching this that comes from the mind of Tim Burton. But aside from that, I do also enjoyed, in terms of I think the pacing of this film, I felt was good. Again, it's not a long film, it's about an hour and 20 minutes or so. Definitely is a film that goes through the story real quick, but at the same time you still get to be developed with these characters. And again, this is a Beetlejuice film. If you understand the first film, and the character dynamics is what draws you into this film, and that's what draw me into the second film, and I felt they didn't lack at all. Definitely with the addition of Jenna Ortega and that relationship with Winona Ryder, I felt Jenna Ortega was born to be in the Tim Burton world. Obviously, from Wednesday and to this, is that I am definitely happy that they're able to have this opportunity to add her into this film, and I almost feel like, yeah, she is organic. That, yeah, she's supposed to be in this film to play her daughter, but not being a mere copy of Lydia Deetz. That was my big concern. I was like, okay, please don't make her just a goth chick, again, and whatever. Like, no, Lydia Deetz, Winona Ryder is that character, and Astrid Deetz is a different character, but definitely you can see parallels through the Deetz family in terms of relationship between mother and daughter. And that's what I felt I got more from this film, more than anything else, which I felt that was the strong point. Aside from that, you guys, I think one of my weaknesses of it is then it's like there was some story points, and I'm not of the plot where, again, it goes back to the jokes. Some of the jokes don't land. It does get kind of dragged on a little bit, but there was one joke where I was like, wait, did anyone tell Tim Burton what this scene implies? And I can't say what it is, but metaphorically speaking, when you're talking about the afterlife and doing the whole meta joke of it all and seeing, passage to a different destination in the afterlife and all that stuff, that scene, I was like, there was people, and especially in the audience, who were like, wait, was this scene implying something else culturally? I don't know, and I'm not even gonna go down that road, but I at least want to acknowledge it. But aside from that, if you are a fan of Tim Burton, if you're a fan of Michael Keaton, fan of Winona Ryder and Jenna Ortega, you're going to enjoy this film. I was happy as a Tim Burton fan that this was a great addition to the franchise of Beetlejuice, but did not fall to the curse of the long-awaited sequel from the original film. And this film definitely stands on its own, and I'm really intrigued to see what you guys think of it when you guys see it in theaters coming this weekend on September 6th, I believe. But yeah, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. Let me know if you have seen the film. Let me know in the comment section down below if you liked it, what you didn't like, and then we can have a discussion. And I'll see you guys next video. Peace.